Hi, this is Dr. Benfinio with Science Buddies, and in this video I will show you how to make an automatic solar tracker using an Arduino. Now, that previous clip was a time-lapse of the setup working outside in direct sunlight. Here I have it set up indoors so I can demonstrate its use with a flashlight. So first let's take a look at the physical setup. I have a solar panel mounted on a servo motor and a support structure built from popsicle sticks and hot glue here that holds the solar panel at an angle. And most importantly, up here above the solar panel, I have two light sensors. These are called photoresistors or light-dependent resistors. They are resistors that change their resistance value depending on the amount of light that hits them. The resistance gets lower when there's a lot of light and higher when it's dark. And we have a separate tutorial video all about using these sensors with an Arduino, so I'm not going to go over all those details again in this video, but long story short, you can't measure their resistance directly, but you can measure the voltage from the Arduino's analog input pins by connecting them to another resistor, forming something called a voltage divider. Again, go check out our other video linked in the description of this one if you want to learn more about these light sensors and how they work. What we are doing with them in this project is using two of them mounted on opposite sides of this vertical piece of cardboard. So what happens is, depending on the location of the sun in the sky, if the sun is slightly off to one side, one of these will be shaded while the other one gets hit directly with light. And the Arduino code looks at the difference between these two sensor readings and will rotate the solar panel until the readings are approximately equal, meaning that this piece of cardboard is pointed directly at the sun and both of the light sensors are getting hit by light. So you can see that if I demonstrate with the flashlight here. Right now, just based on the ambient internal lighting in the room I'm in, this has kind of found its equilibrium position, but if I take the flashlight and add more light on one of the sensors, it is going to rotate the solar panel towards that side. And then if I switch to the other side, it's going to rotate back in that direction. So again, I am just using a flashlight here to quickly demonstrate this. If this was outside, you would have the sun gradually moving through the sky throughout the day, so moving much more slowly. And as it moves, it's slowly going to start shading one of those sensors and rotate the solar panel to track the sun. Now, the reason for doing this is that a solar panel produces maximum power when it is oriented perpendicular to the sun's rays. So for a fixed solar panel installation where the panel does not move, the panel is going to produce less power early in the morning and later in the evening when the rays are hitting the solar panel at a very steep angle. So this is a single axis tracker that rotates the panel left and right to follow the sun's east to west movement throughout the day. You can also make a dual axis or two axis tracker with a second motor that has motion to adjust the panels up and down to account for seasonal variation in the sun's position as it moves up and down in the sky throughout the year. What I will do in the rest of this video is show you how to assemble the circuit and code for a single axis tracker with a single servo motor and two photoresistors, but you could duplicate this setup and add another motor and another pair of photoresistors to make a two-axis tracker. Let's switch over to the computer to take a closer look at the circuit diagram and the code. So here we have the circuit built in a simulation program called Tinkercad. We also have a tutorial about this software linked in our Arduino tutorial playlist in the description of this video. So in the circuit, we have the four main components spread out here since we can't do the physical assembly in the simulation. We have the servo motor, the two photoresistors, and the solar panel, which again are all connected together with hot glue and popsicle sticks. You can check out the link to the project for more pictures of that setup. They are all wired to a breadboard and connected to our Arduino. One note, the solar panel itself is not actually powering the Arduino in this project. We are measuring the voltage from the solar panel using one of the Arduino's analog input pins. This allows you to do an experiment, for example, to compare the voltage throughout the day with a fixed panel and a movable panel mounted on the servo, but it is not powering the Arduino. The Arduino still requires external power. One very important note, if you connect your solar panel's output directly to an Arduino like this, you must have a small solar panel that will output less than 5 volts. Trying to send a higher voltage into your Arduino can damage it. It is only designed to operate at 5 volts and measure up to 5 volts on the analog input pin. You can use something called a voltage divider to lower the voltage of your solar panel and measure the voltage from a bigger panel, but I'm not going to cover that in this video. For purposes of a science project, we just recommend a smaller panel that outputs less than 5 volts, and then you don't need to worry about it. Looking at the connections on the breadboard here, we have the ground or black wire from the solar panel going to the ground bus on the breadboard. We have the positive wire from the solar panel going to one of the Arduino's analog input pins. We have the servo motor, which has 3 wires. Now, depending on where you buy your servo, the colors of the wires may vary. For this common type of servo, we have brown, which is ground, and going to the ground bus on the breadboard. Red, which is power, going to the positive bus on the breadboard, which is connected to 5 volts from the Arduino. And orange, which is the control signal, in this case going to Arduino pin 9. We then have the 2 photoresistors. Each photoresistor has 2 pins. One of those pins is connected to 5 volts. And the other pin is connected to one end of a resistor, and that resistor then goes to ground. The size of this resistor is going to depend on the resistance of your photoresistors. You might have to tweak this and try different resistor values to get the best readings, but 10 kilo ohms is generally a good place to start. I should have mentioned that you can also find this diagram and a link to the Tinkercad circuit simulation in the description of the video. Finally, we have 2 more wires going over to other analog inputs. We have a connection on the breadboard between this fixed resistor and the one leg of the photoresistor that goes over to an analog input. And again, that is taking the voltage from this circuit called a voltage divider, where you have 2 resistors in series, converting the resistance of this photoresistor to a voltage that can be measured directly by the Arduino, because the Arduino cannot measure resistance directly. And again, we have another tutorial video all about these photoresistors, so you can learn more about them in that video. I'm not going to cover it here. We have another wire that does the same thing, connecting from between this photoresistor and this resistor over to one of the Arduino's analog inputs. So that is it for the circuit. Let's take a look at the code. Looking at the code, and if you want to copy paste this, again, you can find a link to it in the description. The first thing we do is include the Arduino servo library. We then declare a bunch of variables for the pins we are using. So we have 2 analog pins for the light sensors. We have 1 for measuring the solar panel, and we have 1 for controlling the servo. We declare a variable for the servo angle, variables for the 2 light sensor readings and the difference between them. And then we have a margin variable. We are going to take action to move the servo if the difference is greater than this margin, but if it's less than that margin, which you'll see later, we won't do anything because we don't want the servo to constantly jitter back and forth due to small variations. We also have a variable to read the voltage from the solar panel, but the Arduino's analog inputs, as we will see later, do not directly give you the voltage, so we have another variable to convert that to the actual voltage of the panel. And then we create a servo object that we are going to use to refer to our servo motor using the Arduino servo library. In our setup function, we attach our servo object to the servo pin. We set the initial angle of the servo motor, and we initialize serial communication so we can print out some information to the serial monitor later. In the loop function, we use the analog read command to get the value for both of our light sensor pins. We then calculate the difference between them. And then again, here is the key part of the code that's going to move the servo motor depending on this reading. Now, if you were watching very closely, you might have seen that I changed something there, which I will explain in a minute. But first, if the difference is greater than the margin variable that we declared earlier, so if the difference is greater than 50, then we want to increase the servo angle. But the servo only has a range of 0 to 180, so we only want to, in this case, if I'm adding 5 to the angle, increase it if the angle is already less than 176. So if the angle is equal to 175, I will add 5 and get 180. but the angle can't go over 180, so I don't want to add it. If, for example, the angle is 176 and I add 5, I would get 181. I don't want that. What you may have noticed earlier in the video, this said 180. That would work if I was only changing the angle by 1 at a time. So for example, if the angle is 179, that would be less than 180, then this would be true. I would add 1 to the angle and get 180. But if you were changing it by larger increments, you need to change this value accordingly. So in this case, 176. And then same thing down here. If the difference is less than negative margins, so if the difference is less than negative 50, then I want to decrease the angle, but again, I only want to do that if I'm not going to make the angle itself negative, because the angle should not go below 0. So again, if the difference between the two light sensor values is greater than 50, I'm going to rotate the servo one way. If it's less than negative 50, I'm going to rotate the servo the other way. But if it's in between negative 50 and positive 50, I'm just not going to do anything. And that is because I don't want the servo to constantly jitter back and forth just due to very small fluctuations in the light sensor reading. I really only want it to start rotating with larger changes. I'm then going to write the new angle to the servo motor, and I could have done this earlier, but I'm going to get the reading from the solar panel, and the analog read command on the Arduino gives you a number between 0 and 1023. So you can convert that to a voltage between 0 and 5 using this formula here. So again, you can use this to record your actual solar panel voltage, or you could also do this with a multimeter if you have one available, and track that throughout the day, comparing the results with a fixed panel to that with a movable panel. Finally, I have a bunch of serial print commands to print out the light sensor readings and the solar panel voltage. Printing out these readings is useful for calibration as you adjust things like the size and position of that piece of cardboard where the sensors are mounted, and maybe changing the value of this fixed resistor to make sure that you are getting a difference in the two readings when one of the sensors is shaded and the other one is not. So again, that is mostly useful for the initial setup and debugging and design process, and then once everything is working, you're going to want to look at the solar panel voltage printout. Finally, in the actual code running on the physical Arduino, I have a delay here. I have that commented out in Tinkercad because the simulation was running kind of slow, but you don't necessarily need to reposition the panel every second, especially maybe if it's a partly cloudy day and you don't want to be moving back and forth all the time with clouds. So you could add an even longer delay here. If we run the simulation in Tinkercad, it will let us click on the light sensors to simulate the amount of light hitting them. So it starts with a default of very dark, but you can see if I increase the amount of light hitting this sensor, it makes the servo rotate towards that one. If I click on the other one and increase the amount of light here as I exceed that first sensor, and then maybe drop this one down a little bit, it rotates over towards this sensor. And I can look at that in the serial monitor here. You see it is printing out both sensor readings, and in this case, I'm getting 974 on one sensor, 879 on the other sensor, so that difference was greater than 50, so it was rotating. But if I move these back down, the servo is already at its maximum position, so it's not going to rotate anyway. But for example, if I start increasing this one again, you see it's not rotating yet because the difference here is not greater than 50 yet. But if I increase this one all the way and drop this one down a little bit, as the difference becomes greater than 50, the servo is going to rotate back in the opposite direction. This is just a simulation, so clearly you'll need to try this with real sunlight on your physical Arduino, because the readings you're going to get from your physical photoresistors are going to be different. Remember that for written instructions for this project, you can check out the link in the video description, and for over 1,000 other projects in all areas of science and engineering, not just Arduino and electronics, check out the rest of our YouTube channel and our website, www.sciencebuddies.org.